I'm Larry Menti, and this is the Delaware Way. Thank you for joining us. We return now to our conversation with Jeff Flynn, who is the new Economic Development Director for the city of Wilmington. And you've been busy the last couple of weeks. You've had a couple of news conferences already. One was a joint news conference to announce this joint economic development plan. I know it's huge, so you can't get into all of it, but what are some of the highlights, the specifics of the plan?
Sure. So let me try and break down the plan for you.
Okay.
We have a strategic action plan. It's up on our website, www.wilmingtonde.gov. You'll see 3 documents there: an analysis, a SWOT analysis, a targeted industries report, and then a strategic action plan.
Okay.
And the strategic action plan has about 33 recommendations. These are tactical recommendations that are organized into 10 sort of strategic initiatives. These 33 recommendations span the spectrum from specific to more general, recommendations that can be implemented by our office alone, all the way across to recommendations that need state enabling legislation. Some of these initiatives will have a high cost. Some of them we don't know what the cost will be. Some of them have no cost at all. And some of these ideas are meant to start a dialogue.
So to interpret that, some can be done quickly, some are going to take some time.
Yes.
And the ones that can be done quickly, you will do quickly? We're going to see this happening pretty fast?
I think so. You know, we want to focus on the ones that are highly feasible and highly critical. So, for example, we got some feedback that our website, our economic development policies and tools are difficult to find on our website. There's not a lot of readily available information for businesses that aren't familiar with Wilmington. And so we want to get a new website up that allows an outside user to get to the information they need with a minimal number of clicks. And so we can either overhaul our existing economic development page on our website or start a new website. And we want to make sure that we have up on that website a real estate inventory, a summary of telecommunications and utilities assets, a directory of small business services, and a listing of our economic development incentives.
And there's a cost to this, right?
There could be. We do have an expert webmaster that is in city government, but I think we want to go ahead and price out what it might cost to have a third-party firm help us do this.
As you go through these initiatives and recommendations, are they costly? Is it a costly investment in hopes of getting a return?
Some of them are. For example, one of the items is to continue advancing the South Wilmington Urban Renewal Plan, or the South Wilmington Transportation oriented design. This is a plan that talks about the southeast segment of the city and about how it could be developed with new road infrastructure to attract private investment, and particularly in creating a new business park. And business parks are important in Wilmington, as they are in the county. And I'll just point out, Larry, that is a common recommendation in both of our plans. The ability to take underutilized land and prepare it for private investment in light manufacturing, warehousing, those types of businesses that don't need an office building, right?
And where you're talking about putting this business park and these businesses and this infrastructure, are there people living there now?
No. These we mentioned 5 potential business park areas, and they're already non-residential areas. They're areas that currently have some business there, but they also have a predominance of underutilized land.
If this all works the way you want it to, what do you see as your short-term gain or goal and your long-term gain or goal?
Our short-term goal would be to set up programs to help prepare Wilmingtonians for job readiness, to get started on some marketing initiatives, including the website. Long-term would be preparation of land and infrastructure to attract private investment in 3 to 7 years. And
how quickly, all of that, when is the goal? When's the timeline for that, the short-term gain or goal?
some of the recommendations are already underway. The initiative announced by the mayor to form a young professionals or a new millennials group, that's already up and running.
Right, it's become making Wilmington hipper, right?
Yeah, well, you know, we want to, it's important in every city to have a diversity, not only a diverse workforce, but a diversity of residents. And we know that we want to attract more families and also young professionals. We want to attract them to Wilmington. Wilmington has a great opportunity. We have great housing stock here in Wilmington, and Wilmington's always been a place where people come and renovate row homes in really interesting and historic neighborhoods. And if you talk to people from that generation, they may move to New York post-grad, but then they can't buy a home there. So Wilmington, we know, is an attractive place for people to come who want to buy their first home, and we want to leverage that and celebrate that.
And I cut you off when I brought that up. So the long-term goal, we don't need to get into all of it, but what would Wilmington look like if all of this works the way you see it working, and how many jobs would be created?
Oh, that's a good question on the jobs. I mean, I think that let's target maybe 5,000 jobs over 7 years. And I'm just sort of putting an order of magnitude out there. But Wilmington would look like a city where there's a diversity of housing available to either rent or purchase, a city that's more bikeable and walkable, a city that's considered safe and is safe to attract young people to come to our cities, attract families, development of housing stock in the $130,000 to $200,000 range, and then in the $180,000 to $350,000 range, and then some maybe more exclusive housing opportunities in parts of the city, so that we make sure that we have a diversity of options for people to live. Taking underutilized land that you see now in parts of the city where there are no structures on it, making sure that there's housing there or locations for business, some new roads, some new green spaces.
Wow, it all sounds good. So, and how many years is that?
Well, for some of those capital assets like the roads, that could be anywhere from 3 to 7 years. But I think some of our workforce development ideas, we want to get those off the ground in the next 3 months.
When we come back, I want to pick up more on one thing you said, and that is all the other things you need to do in Wilmington to make this plan viable when the Delaware Way returns.